I had 3 notebooks after that 2-year.
I got 2.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I got a lot.
Tales of
look
the
at
Tropics
this,
before, the homebrew that I run has a binder.
I was counting up all my OneNote pages, and holy crap, do I have a lot of
That and my,
content in my OneNote.
My compendium of bullshit, as I call it, all my random encounters and stuff, my little tables for things. That is a
Do a GoFundMe, man.
That is a 25-page Google Doc.
You should do a GoFundMe and make your world. Dude.
I know, right? Well,
Everybody's making bank doing that shit now.
I mean, I don't know about bank, but
Well, extra money.
yeah.
There's this chick I was watching on YouTube. Dude, chick has got dead eyes. You ever made it? Somebody that has dead eyes?
They got
No, I haven't.
that 1,000-yard
They're
stare.
kind of like this. Yeah, anyway, and then I did this.
Those are stoner eyes, bro.
This is my new D&D content. I'm like, you're about as exciting as watching grass grow, lady.
You ever watch Grass Grow?
She's just as a little bit more animated than that chick that was on the couch when you watched Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
The Ultimate Boomer documentary. Oh, you know, he's just letting. We're live, by the way.
We are live now.
I'm sorry. I take back everything I said.
No, he doesn't.
Only if it was about you.
It's just the wait screen as we're waiting for Bill. Just waiting for Bill. Zia, did you want to come and unplug everything really quick?
Here, you want a camera?
Or pee on my foot? Show
How about
the
pee on the
elite
electrical
signs
block?
of your education.
You pee on my mandolin, you're going to become a new case for it.
Should be a
that
Mando
skin.
cozy for the key adjusters. Oh, those cute little fur cozies you have on your keys. Where'd that come from?
Funny story.
Funny story.
Remember the neighbor's
I
dog?
don't get to play anymore, but it's still a funny fucking story.
You remember the neighbor's dog? No, you don't. Not anymore, you don't.
Is
Eaten my. Oh, this one doesn't have.
Little brass prongs
There you
for
go.
your sheep protectors.
Go get a different one. This one does, right? Yes. Okay. But of course, the purple one does not.
Well, because it knows that you love the purple one. I love Fig Newtons. They're so yummy. Fig Newtons. That'd be Bill.
Password.
Even though 20 people came and went, he'll still fucking knock. He is the nicest captain in the room.
Since you're late, we have to quiz you. Spell Czechoslovakia, then you can earn a seat.
So you're right there.
No. Here?
You're right next to Ivar. Yep, right there.
No, that's
You
not
can-
our seat. It's going to be that one.
No. Take that seat and move it next to Ivar.
Got it.
There's no camera there. So you can scunch him down a bit.
no.
Faster. We started at 7:30, right?
7:30. Technically 6:30.
Well, oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
technically
That's
6:30. That way, you know, we could get here, we could shoot the shit, and we could call each other funny names and
Okay.
be fucking
6:30 it
stupid.
is. I apologize.
I was walking out. He's gonna say, "Hey, he called it, so let's go home." He's all, "What?"
Man, turns out they have to reupholster the cactus. We're just going to call it a draw.
Why are we reupholstering a cactus?
Because it sounds like something that might be done,
Because
should be done,
When I was
could
a
be
kid,
done.
a movie came out called The Goofy Movie.
Radio.
And
This
there's a
is like
line
in
from it.
2000.
Yeah. Yeah, in the young year of 2000, I was 4 years old.
Back in the yesteryears.
Back before YouTube.
Well, you know, the
Man,
realization
movies
that
went
when I
down.
was 18, she was 8.
Yeah, shit.
And, you know, it sounds gross until they're finally in their 30s compared to me being in my 40s. Because then,
It's still sick.
no, it
No,
becomes possible.
No.
Mostly because she's blind, poor hearing, bad judgment. It's perfect. She's a perfect girlfriend.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the Goofy movie, there's a line where there's someone, they're going on a road trip or someone, they have someone watch the house and go, remember to water the couch and reupholster the cactus. And I've used that my entire life. Every time you guys go, well, it's for real, it's for fun, but I gotta go water the couch and reupholster the cactus. We'll see y'all later.
So eventually, Richter will be sitting there at the end.
Okay.
Like right there. And then that spot next to Richter will be for Zach once he gets here next Thursday. Thursday.
And then this
Thursday.
whole side
Tuesday.
is hers.
Typically.
She's room for her pets.
She has one folder for each pet she has.
I had an interesting idea regarding exposition.
These are actually comics too.
Well, I mean, you're old and you've got the Santa Claus beard. You could expose all you want.
This is
No, I'm thinking
I thought we're breaking some of
if I don't know, player doesn't know something that character should, I'll just have in character. I'll just ask myself,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
you can reply, and maybe they could hear it. Me talking to myself.
Yeah,
back
that's
and
fair.
forth.
I like that idea.
Berry? Yeah, it is Leatherberry.
Okay, let's do it.
There we just exposition.
Do I know non-Euclidean geometry?
Is this the guy I wanted to kill?
That or we could
Yeah,
make some,
okay.
some extraplanar entities
He's
called
just-
MXC.
He's just trying to figure out how he doesn't have to take notes.
Yeah, there's that too.
No.
Well, he isn't.
There's a lot
Was
of
Part
this
of
the
his
guy that
part of
I
his
needed to
retirement
find?
was the agreement that he didn't have to write anymore.
Yeah. Moving on down, sister. Moving on down. Moving on down the line.
Moving on down.
butterscotch. If anyone wants some
Moving on
butterscotch.
down.
On up. Oh, look, Grandpa bought butterscotches.
Are they worth? Oh, you're cheap, Grandpa.
You have to take them out of
Those
the
aren't
wrapper
even
and put them in
Werther's.
your pockets so they get covered with a fine
No,
dusting
these
of
are,
lint.
These are Rite Aid brand.
I was gonna say
Oh
those are
no,
right
yeah,
in brand.
he went all out.
Yeah, they're basically butterscotches that weren't quite eaten all the way, and then repackaged for Rite Aid.
his paperwork for like an action medal or something. Because we dodge all kinds of sketchy people at that
Hey.
Friday.
Now with lint. So you don't even have to put the lint on it from your
Was
pocket.
it the Rite Aid off Sanderson?
You remember?
You
I don't know. I had
No,
grandmas.
I don't know. It
You,
was,
you ever been with your grandma?
No, it was the one
And like, and you're like somewhere where you're waiting, like at the doctor's office or something, and you're like dicking around or something, and like she gives you a candy, but it's like doesn't have a wrapper on it. It's from the bottom of her purse.
My favorite is going over to Grandma's house and you go into the candy jar, and it's like 20-year-old candy that's
So it's like the
solidified.
entire-
And you go to pick one,
One
and the
up
whole
and-
thing comes out. The
And it's
whole
always that.
coagulated
It's an
square
Italian
candy.
candy. It's,
Yeah.
yeah. It's red, white, and green. Red, white, and green.
Yeah, and it either had little swirls in it or always had these weird patterns.
Or it came in that.
You had to go to the
strawberry
grandma
Yeah,
store
oh.
to get it. Like you'd never see it anywhere. Like where does grandma go to get this?
She used to buy, she thought it was the coolest thing. She used to buy the edible wrapper candy, where it's like the little hard candies with a wrapper and you could eat
With
the
the
whole
rice paper
thing.
wrapper?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Those were. I grew up in a Filipino stepmom.
Until you realize that the wrapper was like the writing on the wrapper was made with like
You
red
know,
ink number 5.
that's
And
almost-
if it was old enough, it would stick.
And you're like, wait a minute, is that the ink that causes cancer?
that's almost the same thing like when your dog takes a shit and you see like a piece of balloon and a string
Yeah.
and a freaking piece of t-shirt and you're like,
on Christmas 3
half
months
a
ago.
sock.
one time my wife comes in holding the dog backwards like with her tail up
like
like
a
this.
machine gun.
And
Yeah.
she goes, help. And there's like a string hanging out and I'm like, you're kidding me, right? I'm all,
I pulled a Q-tip out of a dog's ass.
and it
one
keeps
time.
going and all of a sudden something's red on it. And I go, oh my God, I'm pulling his bowels out. No, it was a piece of red t-shirt like this part.
So it chewed on a T-shirt
I'm like,
and swallowed a chunk of the
How the
fabric.
and it's my littlest dog. I'm like, what are you doing
This
out
is
there?
the second D4 I had to buy for this set because one of my cats ate the first one.
Oh,
Ew.
that probably hurt coming out.
I couldn't find it forever. And I'm like, I was scared because these things are basically caltrops.
You heard
I'm like, my wife's gonna step on it and fucking kill me. And then I just
You heard.
it wasn't even that. It was just punching.
I'm not really sure how my foot went septic stepping on that dice. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just a
I don't
dice
I stepped on
coated in ass juice from a cat.
Now, this one would hurt him more. This one right here.
Oh yeah, that one is. I have one like that too. That's the custom mold. It's all nice and sharp.
So Calissa was the only one that didn't get the dark T-shirt memo.
Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah, maybe next.
I mean, y'all didn't get the booby.
And she's
So-
Yeah, the
So-
movie T-shirt memo.
It was just a little bit colder in here. My little jean rivets would be out.
Metal Gene rivets. Oh my god, I apologize. Not really.
You guys can go and sign off now. You're not going to miss much.
So welcome to our Tuesday night campaign. We'll see how this goes. So Tuesday night campaign is the world of Calisha and the Shattered Kingdom. This is my homebrew world, my custom world. We did a little discording today. I put some beginning lore. I think I put about 4 or 5 chapters of beginning lore to kind of give everybody just some brevity into the region and the world.
I gotta read that.
Now, we met in our zero session last week. We almost broadcast our zero session, but we decided to hang out in the news studio and do it because we just love the comfort of the big table.
Bill forgot
And
his
it wasn't-
pants and we couldn't.
Yeah, and it wasn't quite ready last week, so we decided not to broadcast it. So we did spend some time doing a zero session, and I could not emphasize enough that if you're capable and you like to try, do a zero session. It's a lot of fun. It's easier for the newer players to understand what to expect. It's a lot more kind of like involved for the players to get better understanding what they're building. And if anyone tells you that the players should not conspire or work with the DM, those are failed games. It is perfectly fine for the players, maybe not their characters, but the players should feel comfortable talking and working with the DM. Otherwise, how do you set expectations? How do you make sure everyone understands the notion of the homebrew background, the campaign, the idea of the world? They don't put Converse sneakers on their kobold because they have the wrong interpretation of steampunk. All the shit that gets lost in
Whatever.
translation.
Can't tell me there's no
Wilson
secrets.
rubbers. I might have to do some research on this.
It looks like they are, but they have a leather sole.
Maggot has no soul.
But he's a goblin now. I decided to
So-
change him.
Tonight, before we launch into the background of the world and we learn the tale of these 5, soon to be 6 players, Zach will be joining us next Tuesday. Let's go ahead and get this evening.
In front of the house, like just looking. I'm watching all the idiots run around, and I'm like, oh my god, she's climbing a vine. Great, tree climbing a vine. How are you? How are you doing?
Why are you
I'm
not
like-
talking to me?
I'm like,
yeah,
why are
that
you
was
not
great.
talking to me? I'm like, I'm just gonna wait here.
Wait for the
Something
inevitable.
stupid's gonna happen.
So everybody, welcome to the world of Calisha and the Shattered Kingdom. This is a homebrew world that's built in the astral and celestial reality of D&D, but it is its own world. Something I've been working on for probably well over a year. And these fine folk have decided to give it a go. So you can we've got a variety of newer players and returning players that are newer players, but they've been playing for a while. And of course, my lovely partner in crime, Callista, as well as our good friend Ivar. We've got Bill, we've got Matt, and
I'm
we've
tired
got.
of seeing me in them.
And
You want to go with Alec,
Yeah,
not Matt Fuggin?
No.
Okay.
totally just
Working on my image, you know.
Yeah. So the thing I love about this particular campaign that we're going to be launching onto tonight, even though we kind of got a little bit of a brief start last week, it is designed for us to have fun and still make up a lot of content on the way through the journey. While I have most of the written content done, there's a lot of framework and a lot of detailed content I'm going to work out as we roll through this. As it stands, what we kind of went over in our zero session, I will launch into day one of the campaign here shortly. But before we get started, I want to talk about our characters. And we're going to start with Callista.
Oh, great. Me? I mean, hi.
Introduce your character to us.
My character is Talia Sky Shadow. She's an Aarakocra, cleric, death cleric. I haven't decided how tall she is, but she's tall. I think Aarakocras are tall, right?
What's she look like?
She looks like a Dracula parrot. So she's almost all black. She's got red spots on her cheeks. And then on the wings on her back, there's a red stripe. But the rest of her is all black.
Ivar, talk to us about Maggot.
Well, I would, but now I don't know what he's wearing.
He's wearing sneakers because
I'm
he's
just
a
kidding.
rogue.
Okay, so
And
okay,
leather
so
armor, because
Maggot
it's literally
is
made out of
a.
hide.
Are you telling like the class and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
I did.
so Maggot is. Well, I just randomly rolled him, so let me see what he is. No. So Maggot is a goblin rogue with the subclass Scout, so he's like a more of an outdoorsy kind of rogue, and he has his mount, his giant vampire bat mount that he flies around on because it's a little too dangerous to walk around and get sucked in by like quicksand and all kinds of horrible creatures. So he likes to fly, and his bat's name is Belfry. So
Yeah, bats in the belfry.
he
Does belfry?
he's got a leather coat and he wears like a World War I flying hat with goggles.
If we had a job
Can
for
Belfry
bad
attack?
puns, it would be so
Yeah.
so fast.
Was that?
If we
All right,
had a
Bill,
job
talk
for
to us
bad
about
puns, it would be
Takit.
so fast.
Okay, so Takit is a reborn. He's not sure what he is. He's terribly mysterious.
I almost did a read.
Wizard. He was gifted a magic veil of some kind of thing, so that when people look at him, they see what they expect to see. So,
I love that.
so what that is, that's what he is.
Matt, talk to us about your character.
He's still in the making. He's a druid, kind of warrior outcast druid, animal lover, good with all kinds of different animals.
No pressure. You've only not played for
Yeah, I
30
haven't
years.
played for decades, so I'm rough around the edges. But yeah, he's got a background as I saw in here. You could choose a background as an anthropologist. So I have a degree in anthropology, so I thought that was.
Ooh, that'd be fun. Yeah,
So
the study of
anthropologist and-
civilizations.
So yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
he's very fascinated in other cultures, which allowed him to learn multiple languages and adapt. And
And what lineage are you playing?
orc bugbear. I guess.
Yeah, he's a bork.
He's a bork.
Yeah.
So while he has the tusk and the temperament of an orc, he's kind of got the more physical, refined features of a traditional looking bugbear. But the hues of green and reds in the patches of skin that can be seen. So yeah, I love this druid character. He's gonna be fun.
Imagine he's
Alec, what are you playing?
Well, my name is Grimmith John Franco. I'm playing a Hexblood Bard. What that means is I was abducted by Higgs as a child. Then I was ousted by Higgs. I'm failing around with these blokes.
I'm sorry. So now I'm going to be wanting to use that voice all night.
Oh,
All right, I'll do bullywugs all night then.
I'll
please
work with
no.
the Fauna sisters from New Zealand. Thank you, Leanne, for the inspiration and the videos.
The world of Calisha. Its origin, its beginnings, and the world according to present time. This place that you find yourselves in is, while it's in the east of the continent of Lunaverity, it sits in the most western region of the continent within proximity to the Central Waste. Here, this region is known as the Crooked Finger, led by an organization called the Triumphant, a community of council members made up of guild houses and others that specialize in the appropriation and the acquiring of magical items and magical entities and magical stone called the Luminary Shards. Here, the Luminary Shards are the remnant of the creation period of Calisha, when a great comet slammed into the once barren world, fracturing it, creating atmospheric islands that float above the main continents, while at the same time showering the planet with Luminary Shard, the origin, the source of the arcane, the divine, and the natural magics of the world. This has become the most wealthy and sought-after resource within the world itself. Entire kingdoms warred with each other for decades, centuries. The longest war between the East and West lasted almost 1,000 years. And during these great periods of strife, the legend of a visitor, a creature that the world seems to refer to as a human, the only known human to ever visit Calisha, had brought with it the insistence of peace. The insistence that the world's cataclysmic and barbaric attitude within its existence within the astral sea was creating an opportunity of chaos to come into existence. And this could not be allowed. While others from this world that this human hailed from, although his name has been lost to memory, the only known representation of this human is an item, an emblem that still sits within the ruined fortress where the great high seat is held. The council meets on a yearly basis to decide the direction of the kingdoms, and a symbol in the shape of a harp, a dove sitting behind it with wings and a sun emblazoned. This is the only remnant of this human, the name purposely lost. Some even say a powerful enough mage to alter the memory of those that he influenced before they disappeared. Here, the great contract of peace, a period of peace, as this allowed the kingdoms to stop warring, and with this, great houses begin to rise, guild houses, mercantile houses, houses that can craft, create things. It's the unique nature of the magic of this world that allows magic to have a strange kind of coexistence with something that they call mechanicus. The idea that these contraptions that once built can be infused with luminary shards. And therefore, the magic of this infusement will allow these contraptions to take on entirely different uses of their own. One particular floating continent known as Atmo. Here in this region, we get an understanding of a relationship between the Aarakocran and the goblins. And in the world of Calisha, the way it evolved and came into existence, the known history and the lineage and the background. Humans, tiefling, dragonborn are all practically unknown, with rare, unique exceptions, but so unique, some would call them mythical. to a certain degree. Here, the world is dominated by orc, goblins, bugbears, and many of the humanoid creatures that, for the most part, may have been seen as nefarious or needed to be run from other worlds of existence. But here, due to isolation of the world and the unique way that magic works, a period of evolution and creation combined, allowing for the first time for these great kingdoms to come into existence. Here, the luminary shard is imbued with the magic of the divine powers of the gods. The same gods that warred with each other and then hurled this comet in an effort to win a particular battle amongst each other. And this comet struck the world of Calisha, raining the luminary shards down below and introducing the three schools of magic: divinity, arcane, and natural. The uniqueness of this magic, however, requires that the luminary shard be a member of the component of the magic being cast, or at the very least being part of a focus or an item upon the person's body. However, luminary shards can be notoriously difficult to control from time to time. The purity of its magic, the purity of its resource, its essence, the quality of the stone, where it's harvested from. And this brings us into the understanding of why the great empires went to war over this control of the resource. But with the strange arrival of this human, the realization that there was enough luminary shards for all, this human created 8 houses of power. These 8 kingdoms agreed to rule in 8 different regions of the world. Here in this particular continent of Luna Verde, some of the houses that have power, we have me looking at the wrong notes. I should stick to my regular notes because I know they're there. Creation? No. No. There we go. So here, the east and west. The west is made up of the fractured north, the Highlands Reach, Doonrock Bay, and the Soundless Coast. The east is made up of Archway Bay, the Devil's Grin, Unending Coast, and the Crooked Finger. These are the great 8 houses that exist within the continent of Luna Verde. And here they agreed to the peace, whether through influence of whatever this human might have done or how it got involved. This too has been lost to time, as this treaty was signed well over 1,000 years ago. And during this 1,000 years of peace, magic has transcended the physical. Great machines built by the great Aarakocran empires of Atmos, Sundered, Erlin, and Wyndham have become legendary. Great contraptions that fly in the horizons. Some burrow underneath the grounds. Great mining houses that procure these things. Mostly the houses of the Highlands Reach. This is where a majority of the dwarven kingdoms reside within their greater house. However, we have a capital in the Crooked Finger. The Crooked Finger does share a seat at the table of the Central Wastes. And here at the Central Wastes, a great ruined city called Centerpoint exists. At the end of every year, the 8 houses gather and they choose a high chair. The high chair is under the obligation to keep the peace and to further goals of the kingdoms until the beginning of the following year when a new high chair is elected. This has introduced the idea that this peace is guaranteed. However, something can never be wrung out of the blood of warring peoples. If we can't fight out in the open, we'll do it in secret. politic, subterfuge, spy networks. Assassination houses are the new battlefield, the new warriors, the new armies, where great masses and throngs of armies used to fight across great expanses of battlefields. Now in the shadowed halls of council chambers, where magistrates meet, where guild houses meet, whether it's in the capital of the unending coast called High Point, whether it's in the Archway Bay of Windward, or in our own area of the Crooked Finger within the Crown Spire. These are the battles that determine the political sway of Center Point and the idea of who will sit in the high chair. A particular anniversary is upon us. It is the celebration of the founding of the first peace. It's been exactly 1,000 years now since that founding. It is the year, make sure I get the right timeline, because I actually have that up.
3251.
It is the year 3251, as the year 2251 is the signing of the peace treaty. At the end of this year, there will be a great celebration and an election of the new high chair. The celebration and election catering to a new era, a new dawn of existence, as the powerful houses that exist within Atmo have promised a contraption that will change the very nature upon which the world of Calisha knows both its existence within the idea of magic, and they even claim a certain understanding of perhaps even divinity itself might be revealed by this contraption. This announcement by the great Air Cochrane Turquoise Blue, a leader of the House of the Feather, is said to be a political barb, a joke, designed to create a instability between certain divine houses. Now rumblings amongst the different kingdoms. Who are these peoples, these house takers, these housekeepers? Who are they to tell us that they can reveal divinity to us? So some of the more religious households have become wary of this announcement. And already the clashes between different spy networks and groups of assassinations are taking place throughout the different kingdoms, creating more instability, more erosion of the peace. Here we sit at the beginning of the 4th month of Tenjin. Here we find ourselves in a very desolate, desert, blasted rock landscape of the Crooked Finger. Here we find ourselves over great salt plains, looking down on struggling hamlets and villages, some doing better than others, some worse off than others, depending on your placement within the triumvirate. But as we gradually make our way towards the Mired Valley, we stop first at the great capital of the Crown Spire. An ancient collapsed volcanic mountain that has been extinct for over a millennia. Collapsed in on itself, it offers a unique resource upon the city. Said to be one of the richest veins of Lunary Shard in the East Coast. Not only that, but the Triumvirate has gained a great deal of wealth and power through some of their main houses that keep control over the populations of the Crooked Finger. From there, we drift out of the great capital and into the blastic volcanic landscape around it. We drift further south into the deep valleys of the Crooked Finger, where the wasted forests, the salt flats, and the great alkaline rivers all kind of collide into a great and rather unique kind of metamorphosis of landscape. Here on a great mesa rock sits the ancient home of Takit. It's been here for hundreds of years. The family has served both in the Triumvirate as well as making sure that the local villages and hamlets around the base of the Mired Valley are paying their tax, but are treated fairly, if not with the intent of making sure they remain under the control of the family. Here we know this unique landscape that they exist in, this place, looks upon the region of the heights, barrens, and the salt flats. For the most part, this makes up the majority of the known region of the Crooked Finger, of the southern part of its existence. Here it is known for its great resources of salt, iron, coal, and some of the other resources that about a few hundred years ago, with the invention of something called blast powder and the eventual infusement of luminary shards into devices called cannons and rifles and guns, changing the very nature upon which the threat of war could happen, as well as the occasional assassination or attempted assassination at great range. It's not too uncommon to see a skilled professional carrying both crossbow, wearing chainmail, while also a pistol at their hip. Strange goggles to give them better vision or the ability to see things. And one of my cameras just went out. Who went out?
See that one.
That one
I
went
still
out.
see that
Well,
one.
yeah, but it went out on the screen.
Oh.
Remember how it does that? I have to do that.
Do we have to buy another cord for it?
And then I have to do, I don't know if it's the cord or if my studio software needs a patch. Could be either or. I'm not sure. I might have to restart.
If you're really lucky, it's both.
I might have to restart OBS because I had it on all day when I was doing tweaks. Oh, no, it's back. So with that, Tikit's home sits up on a great mesa that overlooks down into the mired valley. Within the mired valley itself, it's both a mix of fertile land, of strange different types of farming. Once again, with this advent of the infused luminary shards, the creation of mechanicus, the agreements and the relationship between the Aarakocran nobility and the goblin engineers, mechanical contraptions begin to flourish. Great steam-powered locomotives transgress across the horizon, while at the same time, carts and donkey wagons and carriages still exist alongside of it. For the majority of the houses of power and wealth, they enjoy the advancements of contraptions. Those that exist for the sense of work and the idea of laboring and toiling out in the fields of this highly controlled and very much world of those that either have power or don't, to toil in a pit, to service the great railways, or the great airships and dirigibles that flourish here. It's once again the idea of a level of nepotism, depending on your house's power, but what's a little bit of autocracy and a little bit of dictatorship for the sake of peace. The world hasn't known war for 1,000 years. But now with this sudden divine revelation that Atmo promises the people of Calisha, and more importantly, the people of Luna Verde, rumbles of the West, discontent, rebellion, the idea that people can be cast out of their duly elected seats because they have a false narrative and a false expectation of their people. Some of the great Orcish rebellions recently within this previous year, while put down quite brutally and quite with bloody anticipation, the reality of the rumblings and the discontent are beginning to leak up into the high seat. And the current high seat, an individual that goes by the name of Drakor, hails from the Soundless Coast, a great family known as the Bean. They have been in existence for a very long time. And recently he has called all the council seats. A great meeting was held. Discussions were had. And the determination was that the entire council will be voted upon for the first time in 1,000 years, in an effort to bring new understanding of the concerns of Luna Verde. And when this announcement went out, each of the 8 great houses would pick a lesser house. This lesser house would become the choice to send towards the council seat. Takit's house was picked, along with 7 others. They're expected to be voted upon at the end of this year. However, part of the privilege of being a participant within this choice is that you must bear an heir. You must have an heir of your house. And this is when we bring ourselves to the problem of Takit. A strange bloodline. A bloodline that myth and legend has us believe is one of a bloodline linked to an ancient being that attempted to become ascendant and failed. Their memory permanently fractured and drawn from their form. A curse was set upon this house. And those that are born every 3rd cycle, known as the Bloodborn, would be gifted with the idea of the continuation of this curse. Until recently, a Bloodborn was brought into this world. No sign of the curse. No sign that this 3rd cycle was going to continue yet again. What does this mean for this family? Have they finally purged themselves of this failed attempt? This is related to Atmo's divine revelation. As the kingdoms rumbled deeply with discontent, rebellion, misunderstanding, lack of trust, the feeling of a world devolving into possibility of chaos yet again.
Woohoo, chaos!
That's where we thrive.
Play tonight. Chaos TK.
It is morning. The smell of the kitchen in full preparation of breakfast. One by one, the members of this house begin to come down from their private chambers, from each of their own private towers that make up the perimeter of the great house of Takit. As always, Takit, you're the last one to awake. You feel the comfort of your bed and look at your strange visage in your nearest mirror. You get up, you walk over to a small, kind of like bureau, pull open a drawer, and reach in for the veil, put it on. Expecting visitors today. The message folded up neatly over on your desk, and you walk over to it, and you finger and open it up with your hand and read. You know, it's always her. It's always her. It's a message from the triumphant.
Put your finger in.
You're fingering the triumph.
You can expect the arrival.
Triumphant.
You can expect the arrival of Torin early in the morning of the 3rd day. We'll have a message, documents, and information for you. Please offer him all the courtesies that you can. And then just signed. Actually, I have a signature. A little bit of the lore. Make sure I'm on the right tab. One of these days,
How do we have a screen that we can see? We need to get a screen that we can see.
No,
Yeah. So
no.
that you can put things up so that we can see them.
I don't really. I could just do this, pop this up, and turn it around.
Fine, do
But you
that.
gotta get new armature for it. So here, signed, Master Darius, High Seat Caretaker, Leader, the trade house representatives, as well as the metalworkers house and the trade houses of the East. Currently sitting on the Triumvirate Council.
Very good.
Gather up your robes and you head out the door. And you can hear Maggot, Richter, Grimmeth, and Talia all chatting with each other around the table. Smell of breakfast hitting you, but per usual, pull out of your pocket a small vial of liquid,
Can.
taking your portion of life for the day. The illusion of pretending to eat is always the most bothersome part of this thing you have to do. But you promised your mother on her deathbed that regardless of the unique situation you find yourself in, family must continue on. As you walk down the stairs and out into the floor in the main kind of common space that everyone's currently sitting at. There you can see Talia having a very intense conversation with Maggot. While you could also see Grimmeth and Richter kind of sharing both puns and bardic interpretation of the natural world, with every now and then Maggot looking over to shut up the bard, which draws a smile on your face. The four of you look up from your meal to see Takit approaching. The five of you are now having breakfast. It's the third morning of the third day of Tenjin.
Good morning, sunshine. It says hello.
Good morning, friends. How are you?
I was just describing the finer things. We're mixing raspberries and tequila.
As one does. Any word from our guest? Has he appeared yet? Torin. His name.
No sign of Torin yet.
No.
Haven't seen him yet.
Oh, what?
Well, hurry up and finish breakfast. We must make everything ready and show courtesy to this Torin.
Do we have to?
You guys
Yes.
slip into your Maggot face now. Which is basically a male form of Sephora, just in cobalt
How
form.
much ass do
Or
we have to
goblin.
kiss?
Do we have to kiss his ass?
Not past your shoulders.
Do you know the difference between a kiss ass and a brown noser? Depth perception.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Very well. Very well.
There you go.
Who made my breakfast?
Oh,
We have
Let's make
staff,
it
right?
soon
We have
today.
staff.
Maggot?
There are
Sit
caretakers of the
Like a
of the estate. You have a kitchen staff.
Yeah, we have a kitchen staff.
I ate your breakfast for you. It's delicious.
I'll play with it on the plate. and just kinda
Make it look like you ate it.
We really got like
You did very
wax
good today,
fruit,
sir.
wax food.
Yeah.
You almost cleaned your plate.
It's made out of
And I'll just
Play-Doh.
eat it. Double rations for me.
And you just like slide a hand, switch your plate.
Switch your plate.
It's not really
Switch his
for
plate
us,
to a
it's more
clean
so
plate.
The house staff realizing that he doesn't eat. We're trying to keep that from happening. God forbid the cook finds out for years he's been making nothing for him.
This is true.
Right? Oh, it gets eaten.
Just not by
That's
him.
why the goblin's fat.
I'm not fat.
That's why
I'm pleasantly
he
bumped.
He can't level away that face.
What is the weather like today?
Hot.
Well, you're always hot.
It's only the first one.
I mean-
What's the look like?
Technically, it's the near end of winter, the beginnings of spring. The month of Tenjin in this part of Luna Verde tends to be dry, cool, with the occasional spikes of heat. The rainy season is not due for another month or so. The rainy season out here is usually an entire day of rain and then nothing for a week. Be very torrential, almost monsoonish.
What fun.
Katie, on soon because it's Lunar Bay.
Who invited the bard?
You sure you're a professional bard?
Professional as I can be. I think it's not comedy.
But you're not a jester.
Oh, that was me, brother.
All right, just checking.
Grimmeth, please make sure to set up in the drawing room to receive our guest.
Absolutely, I'll be there with bells on.
Don't really put bells on. That gives me a headache.
No, I'm gonna put it on me.
I'm gonna go check and see when our guest is gonna show up.
You guys watch as Maggot gets up, turns, and heads towards the main foyer that allows visitors to eventually be received. With a kind of like, you can see his pockets are currently stuffed with bacon.
Pocket bacon. Gotta have pocket
Belfry
bacon.
loves bacon.
It's always creepy too, because like the main common room that you're in, which is connected to the foyer entrance, the main hall, there's also the kind of like not a technical ballroom, but like an entertainment space that when you have a lot of guests over and you convert it into like a kind of like party like atmosphere. And there's a lot of sitting rooms and drawing rooms and small libraries and small spaces down here where people can cloister and get together and conversate and work on things. But always up in the high rafter of the center room that you're sitting in, way up there, is that creepy little fucking bat. Just sits up there.
He's a picture of him.
All right.
And he's large. He's a big bat.
As I'm heading to the drawing room, I'm gonna look up and go, Belfry, we got guests today. Trying to keep the shitting on them to a
Yeah.
limit.
Is it house
Guano.
trained? Is it house trained, or are there bones and
Yeah.
hair clumps?
I mean,
No,
it's
Belfry is barely controllable.
yeah. He's
I barely keep him under control. I've taught him only to bite me if he has to feed. So you guys are safe, because I know you would be pissed to wake up to see him latched onto your fake invisible leg. I don't know what you have under the robes. I'm afraid to ask.
If it is a vampire bat,
and like
he
to
doesn't
keep as you like look up and you follow Grimace's look, and then since Maggot's already gone to the foyer to kind of check to see if the visitors arrived, the four of you look up just in time to see something fall, and then right in the middle of the table, partially macerated hand.
Oh no.
What kind of hand?
Master.
It looks like it might be a kobold hand.
Hand.
Did any of the help mention or put in the paperwork for an on-site injury today?
I don't think we have any kobolds on staff.
Oh, it's
Not anymore.
I don't think we had any kobolds on staff.
I think that answers the question. I don't want to ask anymore. I'm not sure.
I'll take the
Then you
hand.
watch as Grimace gets up to go head back to his chamber to get ready for the day.
And I hide the hand.
Grab it, tuck it in your small waist pouch.
I'll save that for later.
So Maggot, as you begin to approach the foyer section of the receiving,
I have my full-on butler rig on.
yeah, and there standing is the cantankerous old orc housekeeper. His job is mostly made up has not had the heart to get rid of him.
What's his name?
He goes by the name of Bronco. Bronco turns
What's his actual position?
Wrong penis.
kind of just caretaker.
Oh, caretaker.
Yeah, just like a caretaker. Does odd things. Keeps, receives guests when they arrive.
Oh, I don't have to do that? Okay, well,
I like the housekeeper.
all right.
You know,
I'm just the
um,
body
Or,
servant.
Filch from
yeah.
from
Just-
Harry Potter.
Yeah, I just immediately thought
you watch as the old orc kind of turns his head to see you approach, and there's that big old monocle he keeps on his cheek, and his toothless grin, and his kind of like just kind of Einstein-like white gray hair kind of puffing off the top of his head. He's wearing the attire of house staff, but it's like the jacket's too small, the shirt's too big, the pants are threadbare and worn because he just doesn't want to give them up. And he's leaning on his heavy cane against his waist. Huh, Maggot.
I'd like to say it's nice to see you, but even with my one good eye, it's difficult to see you in any. Why do you? By the way, I have a complaint about your bat.
What
I think it
is
might
it
have.
now?
Well, I think it might have eaten a friend of mine.
What kind of friend was it?
It's a little kobold friend of mine. Often he calls on me, and we go drinking together.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't
His
know.
name was Zipper.
Zipper.
Yeah, we call him Zippy for short. Really good with fixing the steam pipes down below in the basement of the house.
I don't want to write his name down because I don't need to remember it.
He's dead. We don't need to remember his name.
Let's-
All I know is that he drank the good tequila.
Look, I'm just saying.
I have never seen him. I don't know. I haven't seen a whole bodies or anything to tell that, he's actually dead or anything. Doesn't sound like anything Belfry would do. I just,
What? No, I think your bat is quite homicidal.
you're alive.
He kind of looks at the scars on his arm.
He doesn't
Yeah.
do that anymore. Don't look at that.
He kind of looks at the scars on your arm.
We have a strange relationship.
This entire household has a strange relationship. I've received word that there's somebody to be here this morning. Goes by the name of Torn, a member of the House of the Triumphant. Should be here shortly, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna get on Belfry and take a scout, see where his little party's at.
Might not be a bad idea. I think they're overdue. Should have been here by now. Belgrade!
As you agree with you already laughed.
Oh, yeah!
So the rest of you are sitting there. You hear Taki yell back towards Maggot, and you just watch as the bat free falls until it gets like a few feet above the table. Its wings come out, and it's this massive shadow kind of like courses over the table and through the double doors, kind of the reins hanging down. Give me a dex check as you reach up for the reins.
18.
Reach
Plus
up,
a bunch of
you
stuff.
grab the reins, you kind of Legolas it onto the back of Belfry. The old orc Bronco ducks underneath his trunk as you are now out front.
As
Over,
like a cobalt tail falls.
like coursing in these great loops above the mired valley. And that's when you see the entire estate up on this 1,000-foot tall mesa. The great, like, thin, winding rock road that curls and coalesces all the way down to the base of the mesa. And then you begin to follow the road.
Okay.
Give me a survival check with advantage because you do have height.
All right.
See
See
what
what that is. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see a tail.
Oh, you said survival, right?
Survival.
Hold on, probably see things. We'll grab some tea.
I'll make the tail disappear.
Okay.
12. Kind of shitty.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking and you follow the route until it hits one of the nearby villages. They all look the same to you, so you always forget their names, but shale or
Okay.
granite, or it's always named
Some
after.
fucking rock.
Yeah, it's always named for rocks, and you kind of bank Belfry off to the right to follow the road that will take you towards the salt flats. As the main road coming out of the spire would probably take them down more the easterly south region of the Crooked Finger, and you follow that road for a bit. Give
Do I
me
see any circling vultures?
give me a perception check, because now you're being a little bit more.
Oh, me.
Now that you think you're on the right road where they would come from, you now
Did Belfry eat the
Should've
guy
given him some
coming?
guidance
Yeah.
before he
The
left.
worst.
you'd have
no,
advantage on perception because once
Oh.
again you have height.
So
Flying upside down.
yeah, perception.
Okay, it's a tail.
So 14.
14. Way off in the distance, you think you see something, so you begin to kind of nudge Belfry down. Give me animal handling, as Belfry is also looking in a different direction as he sees a circling of like
Fine,
pigeon
something
shrikes
decent.
off to his right.
16.
16. So you manage to keep him from going after those pigeon shrikes. You put your heels into his ribs and kind of
I hit
cause
him in
him,
the head.
yeah, cause him to kind of like start going down the direction of something that you can see.
Okay.
Maggot's been gone for maybe about 5 or 10 minutes. What are you doing with your time, Grimmeth?
Came into the kitchen to get some tea, and now I'm just kind of getting my fingers loose, but receiving guests and all day.
Okay, so you're in the main receiving hall at this point, kind of limbering up your bardic skill sets. What are the rest of you doing?
Where's the library?
Getting up, Tiki gets up and goes, full. And then you kind of look around and you remember that down the main hall on the east wing would take you to one of 3 libraries that you have.
This is the closest library to the city.
Be the second library.
I'll go wander off to that one.
Okay. Talia, Richter,
I
what are you two doing with your
am
time?
Making sure there's nothing untoward lying about, like.
Give me investigation as you start looking around in a little bit more detail. What are you doing with your time, Richter?
I was tending to the animals.
Okay.
Finishing up breakfast.
So you head out to the pens.
Yeah,
okay. What'd you get there, Talia? It takes you about 5 minutes. And as you're sitting there priming your loot and kind of getting in the mode of entertainment, you watch as Talia just softly walks by a doorway that you're looking out, and she's got like a wicker basket on her back filled with body parts. Like a kobold foot sticking out, a partial rib cage, and she just looks at you
Just sitting there.
and then keeps going.
What?
You know that Richter's out at the pens, so he might have a good place for those body parts to go.
Goes good in
Yeah.
about 5 minutes, you know.
Forgot to feed it. Someone forgot to feed it the
Yeah,
other
let's
day.
go feed the pig.
So as you head out to the pens, you find Richter feeding one of the sand raptors,
Beautiful. Perfect.
about 8 feet
They look
tall. This one's been saddle trained. They're a little bit harder than most to train, but this one in particular has been one of the favorites. He kind of goes by the name Longfang, is his traditional name. And he does allow a saddle to be put on him. And I'd say over time, he's kind of befriended you the most. You watch as Talia is coming over with a wicker basket on her
You
back.
think you could give me a hand? Or two?
She reaches into the
Or a leg?
basket.
Check the range.
I'm gonna search the body while we're.
Okay. Give me another investigation roll as you're handing raw parts over to Richter. But every now and then, what'd you get?
Dirty 20.
30, 20. You get to like where the rib cage has been kind of like when a raptor like guts out the interior of an animal. So, but the slight remnants of its clothing are still there. And you find like a leather belt with a little leather pouch on it. And oddly enough, you find 12 gold coins, 2 silver coins, a small brass key, and a very, very tiny linen pouch filled with a very small amount of luminary death shard.
Oh, I feel bad.
You are in the lineage library, the one that holds the entire collected writings, readings of the 1,000 years that your family's been here, including the study of the flora, the fauna, the regional environments that make up this place, the creatures and other known nefarious landscapes and other things of this area that give you some insights into the Mired Valley.
Question about sand raptors. Are they flightless?
They are flightless. They're
Big ostrich monster.
no, they're dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah,
They're
they're
like-
essentially
They're
like
raptors.
regular raptors.
Except you ride them.
You can. They can be broken. And this environment is notorious for variations of these raptors. Some very small, some very large. Another reason why the Mired Valley has kind of enjoyed a bit of isolation. It is said that this area may be the home to a mated pair of T-Rexes. Although, excuse me, It's believed that they mostly linger out by the heights and in the great dry mesa rock, like the barren rock area over there. And they do hunt like the lesser raptors and other creatures. I mean, you do have like many different kind of exotic animals that exist. You have mine concerns that you run. You think you're up to maybe about 10 to 12 taxable villages that that the household gets a stipend from. The frustration is it's always just barely enough to kind of keep things running. It's never really enough to allow you to make like, yeah, or not even that. Like you people might look up and say, "Oh, I bet he's rich," but it's like, your robe is 20 years old. You pay these guys a stipend just to keep them from, walking away. You collect just enough taxes to barely keep the house functional, and you kind of rely.
I have to waste money on food I don't eat.
Exactly.
Well, no, it feeds Belfry.
Could get more taxes out.
It feeds Belfry.
Are there any books in particular that are calling to me this morning?
Give me an insight check.
Okay, first roll. So
Is he within?
passive wisdom is 13.
Is he within 60
I
feet
rolled a
of me?
6.
Okay.
I have a +3 wisdom bonus.
Well, no, so what are you doing?
Insight.
Insight +3. So just add.
So 9.
9?
Yeah.
You're a little distracted with the idea of solving this hereditary title problem. Technically, the bloodborne line of the family never have kids. They don't typically live long enough to have kids. The bloodborns they're the inheritors of the curse, and they're the reminder that the curse still exists. The fact that you were born as a bloodborne and you do not bear any kind of evidence of the curse, which you would have been told on your mother's deathbed, it's possible you could produce an heir. But your mother, did remind you there are many different ways to produce an heir. There's adoption. There's, over the years, the family has been like utilizing contracts and subterfuge to create false lineages and false relationships. Like,
Steal a baby.
yeah, I mean the
So we
normal
want to steal
behavior of a family just trying to gloss over its mysterious past
Yeah.
to a certain degree.
I think we're gonna steal a baby.
It's better than trauma.
Steal a baby. Belfie will totally steal a baby. I don't know if it'll be alive when it gets back over you.
But what lineage is the rest of your family? What?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's
I
probably
remember I
the
had a
curse
mom.
of, because this particular bloodborne was born without the curse. He has no memory. He's born without the memory of his past.
Okay,
Hence,
fine.
that's
Adopt
why he's
me. I'll be
treated
the
as a
heir.
reborn.
Hey.
I'm already first in line.
I'm technically an orphan, so I should be the one that gets adopted.
All of you fight for it.
He watches Takith throws out swords on the ground.
Chainsaw.
You watch
swords,
this-
baseball bats.
You watch as this Gorn comes waddling
Yeah.
out the
Throws a
door.
rock at us.
I'm just
Yeah.
imagining Gomez Adams when he throws the sword at him. And they start
Double fisted chop to the back. Ah.
He's going to hear the sound of a tong as the back of the man.
So with that distraction, the only book that calls to you is like the recent written histories of one of your greater relatives. And you pull that book off the shelf, you sit down in a chair, kind of prop it open, and begin to just kind of read and see if you can glean some kind of way that this could be pulled off. And you're lost in thought, knowing that it's quite possible that this messenger of the triumphant Tauren might be delivering the necessary documents and instruments to record the lineage heir that you're expected to provide in order to, be at the council seat. Maggot.
Yeah.
You pick a few bugs out of your teeth, and Belfry kind of baffles out and then curves back down and settles. As he's getting closer, you could see a steady column of wagons. But They're not like the normal horse-drawn wagons. So that's your first clue that it's probably from the spire. And you look, that's when you bring down your goggles for the first time, which gets rid of like all the opaque light of the sun. And you've got this like really good kind of black, white, and gray vision of the entire column that you're kind of, now you've brought Belfry over and he's landed on a nearby rock and, outcropping to look down about 100 feet in the direction that they're coming from. There are no horse-drawn wagons. There's strange puffs of smoke emanating from the tops of these 5 metal contraptions with these great oversized wheels just and these things are just churning up the dust and smoke coming off of them. On top of each one, you can see these goblin engineers, maybe 4 or 5 of them, like moving across the top of it, bringing out a wrench to crank something down, spinning a wheel or a dial, looking at some kind of meter on something. You watch as one of them throws open a huge hatch, picks up a huge bag of coal and drops it into the hatch, and the contraption like belches smoke out above it. They're slow, but they don't require horses, and they're moving just very steadily. Meanwhile, painted on the side of each one is the House of the Triumphant. This kind of feels like this might be the messenger on its way. Give me a survival check as you try to figure out how long it's going to take for him to get there.
Good man. So
And I thought it was just the Monday game that he rolled like shit.
14.
14? 3-4 hours maybe. So they'll probably arrive sometime either after lunch hour or mid-lunch hour. Hard to know for sure, but they're late.
I scratched Belfry's head. I know. No horses. Sorry, buddy.
And like you can hear the sonar echoes of disappointment kind of back at you.
All right, I'll fly back and let everybody know that
Okay.
they're how far out they are.
Okay. Eventually, you guys all hear Maggot's return. Eventually, you guys kind of like all gather together over in the receiving area where currently Grimmeth is tuning his lute. You guys finish feeding the raptor the parts of an illicit meal. As you return, Bronco sees you and sees you in the bat, ducks, and just kind of snorts as you fly over, and Belfry retreats back up into the high cathedral ceiling of the center room. But all of you are gathered now in the receiving chamber. Good 3 hours now until Torrin's arrival.
Got a while.
What would you guys like to do?
Stupid wagons with no horses.
We could drink.
We probably don't want to drink before they come.
Especially after, Belfry, yeah.
No.
Right, because drinking will change Belfry's behavior.
Well, also drinking will provide better opportunities for enrichment of Belfry's diet.
Oh, he won't feed on you if you pass out. He only does that to me now.
For sure.
Some kind of weird thing. I think he thinks it's
We put the
kissing,
basket away
but
yet? Or is it still bloody hanging
he
on?
kisses with his
Oh no, the
fangs.
basket's out by the raptors.
Raptors.
Yeah.
All right.
And the basket's black. Most of my stuff's black.
Right, because death.
Okay. You won't be able to see the blood.
What's the oldest book I have in the library?
That would probably
lineage
be the creation
Okay.
book.
Take-
It's a good 400 or 500 years old. It's said that one of your greatest bloodline
Go in
relatives
your mouth and get 3.
spent a solid year traversing both east and west Luna Verde, documenting specific information around the idea of the luminary shard, creation theory, divinity, gathering up as much of the what he believed to be the true histories.
Did any of the cursed write books?
You like the banana one?
Oh, give me a history check. See if you can recall if they did.
First one yellow, translucent guitar pick. Yellow.
Crocodile
11.
banana one.
What'd you get? 11? difficult to recall. You don't remember your mother mentioning that. But then again, there's some things you've stumbled across in the house that she didn't mention to you before. So is it possible they could have written books? It's possible. But there's a great deal of secrecy behind the curse. So a lot of that was never intended for like consumption to be read. As most of the Bloodborns were kept very much under hushed tones.
I'll sit quietly and introspect.
Okay. Anybody else want to do anything while we wait for Torrin's arrival?
Could I try and train a sand raptor?
Sure. You head back outside. We'll say with your downtime, while everyone else is doing whatever they're doing, a particular clutch of eggs have just hatched maybe about a month or so ago. There was one particular raptor that seemed to be very amenable to being hand-fed and given basic commands.
I want to help.
You want to go help him? Okay. So as the two of you head back out to the pens to work on the small clutches of recently hatched sand raptors, give me animal handling for starters.
+4, so
15.
15. Okay.
what do I roll? I roll
D20.
D20.
D20 and then you add your hand.
Okay, and then just add the +4.
Let me get you a box. Otherwise, we're going to have too many Kevins.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, if I can get box too, please.
Box. Box are we talking about? Dice box?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they go off right across the table.
Thank you. 12 plus 16.
So 16. You guys spend about an hour kind of like working with this one particular sand raptor. Yeah, for next week, I've got a killer dice tower I want to put out. So that some of my players had made for me, and we'll use it at the table as well. So spending an hour with it, you guys can teach it one command. Basic, simple command.
Sit. I'm just kidding.
I have to ask yourself, do you want to be responsible with this or not? Because you could teach the shit out
I don't know how I feel about that.
of it.
I feel pretty shitty.
I mean, I do teach my dogs to do that so that they'll go outside.
Retrieve food, injure people, ride it,
I'm thinking follow.
comes, follow. Just have it follow. Yeah. that works.
Okay. As you teach it its first command, it also requires that you name it.
We're gonna name it. I think its name should be Bob. I'm just
Rapey.
kidding. Rapey?
Rapey the raptor.
We're not gonna name it Rapey.
Rapey the raptor. That's rude.
Grape. Don't you mean rape?
Grimace
No,
gonna
there were a
walk
bunch of
by
them.
with his teeth. I'll recommend
Name him
Raven.
Ford. Name him Ford.
I reckon name him
Ford.
Ford Rap.
All right, Ford it is.
Name it Ford.
That's good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Ford rap.
Ford Rap.
You name the young baby raptor Ford.
And it was spelled like fording a river.
And
J is silent.
And for the next hour, you teach it the command follow and come here, Raptor. Come here, Ford. Ford, come here. And, and for the next hour, Ford learns the command follow. Guys, all here
How big is it?
about the size of like a Labrador right now. Pretty not small, but not big either. And they mature pretty quickly. So it should be full size in about 3 months.
And there's only one.
There's only one that seems docile enough to train. The others are still quite feral and not quite old enough to start their training yet. But you do have Longfang, who is fully grown and trained. And now you have Ford, who is in the process of being trained. May eventually fully grow as long as Belfry doesn't get snacky.
We don't have a range.
I don't think
We almost-
so.
You just see like the leash with some blood next to the little house that says Fjord on it. And it's like, oh, we just got it to teach it a command. God damn it.
While they're messing around with the raptor, I'm going to do my morning ritual of
Tarot reading. Okay.
I put a collar on it. That way, I put a collar on Ford. That way we can tell him from the others.
Okay, that's fine. Put collar on them. Eventually, all of you gather in the receiving chamber as off in the distance you begin to hear the echoing clatter of steam engine carriages. And they're currently coming up the long road to get to the front of the main courtyard of the estate. The five of you patiently wait and hear Bronco's voice kind of,
Oh, yes. They're expecting you. Follow me.
you can hear the tap of his cane as he starts to lead Torin. As he enters the hallway and exits the foyer and into the receiving area, a very tall, orcish individual wearing very refined clothing, a purple velvet-like smoking jacket with a white billowy tunic underneath, leather pants, and kind of yellow sand-hewn boots with a look like that maybe they might be made from some kind of reptilian skin. Kind of tucked underneath his arm, a satchel filled with documents and books and other reading material. Like hanging out of the corner of his mouth, a cigar that he forgot that he had and quickly bites off the end, shoves it into a pocket on his belt. And then Bronco,
I'd like to introduce Torin of the House Triumphant. Here to deliver a message to Master Takit.
Torin, I am Takit. Welcome to my home. If there's anything you require while you stay, please let me know.
If possible, I would very much enjoy something to drink.
Maggot, what would you like to drink?
Any whiskey or clarity of alcohol would be fine. Maybe some of the famous Crooked Finger Ale would do as well.
Go to the bar and fetch us some drinks.
Yes, master.
you can hear like Belfry's claws up above, just kind of clacking on the rafters, looking down. You know, he sees reins hanging. Every now and then you can hear something fall, but you don't see where it falls.
That's shell on.
They do. And
Please, sit.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if a net would work.
he takes off his goggles, and his entire face is soot and dust covered from.
Would you like to refresh yourself?
No, it's these new contraptions they have us using. I don't like them. They take longer, which is odd considering we don't have to feed horses, but do you mind if I send drinks and food out to the crews? I don't want...
Maggot!
I don't want the curiosity of my goblin engineers to get
Yes, master.
beyond the carriages.
Make sure those at the carriages are given drink and sustenance.
Thank you,
Drink and
Master
sustenance.
Takit.
All right.
The legend of this family has done well. I'm here to deliver your inheritance papers, the ones that will allow you to attain your council seat that's been gifted to you. I require at least 2 days, access to your written work, and eventually the introduction to your heir. You can always save that for later if necessary. And he kind of leans back and away. Kind of, his body language is definitely giving off signals like
He knows.
he kind of knows and gets it. And he's just going through the formality. You realize you've got probably 2 days to solve this problem.
Maybe in 2 days.
Give me deception while you're doing that.
Oh, come on, maybe you gotta
Give me deception while you're doing that. That fucking rocks.
Fucking orc. Deception +1. So I got a 9.
A
deception.
9?
Can I wait? Is he within 60 feet? Oh, he already rolled. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean,
I give you character sheet.
Yeah, I have it. I just,
it's like you think you do really well because the foam of the finger ale is kind of like just kind of frothy, and you're like, God, they'll never
Why is the
notice.
foam one long string?
no, he drinks it. It's like with hairs in it.
And you kind of like Bronco kind of comes over to you. Would you like me to help you with those?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're off a little bit. Try this one.
Okay.
You only got one eye. Come on, hurry up. What are you looking at?
Might be off. It's a bit chewy.
I
Oh,
don't think the ale is supposed to be chewy, is it?
yeah.
That's dark.
Pulls out like a long maggot hair. Like one of your long nose hairs.
No, there's a bell-free area. It's this big vampire bat hair.
You know what? Just go let Master Taki know that I will take care of this. You go and
I gotta go take the ale out to the
well,
gearheads.
well, you do that. I'll get the refreshments back to the table. And
All right.
Eventually, Bronco comes back into the reception area.
I'll just take like
Yeah, you can
a
find
thing
like
of
a
it,
pony
so I don't have
keg
to
and like
take
yeah,
it. Yeah.
you got like a big leather bag full of wooden tankards and like a big pony
And then
keg.
I know we don't have a lot here, and like money's tight, and I have been stealing this place blind for years and selling it on the black market. So
Yes, no, it's all
Like-
good. Cutlery's gone.
all the old food that's about to go bad, that's what I'll bring out to them. So
Well, you can always have Ben help you out too.
Ben,
Ben, B-I-N.
Ben,
Yeah.
who's Ben?
Ben is one of the few automatons that the family has.
Okay, what is it?
It is
Like
a multi-legged biped introspective pneumatic. BIN for short.
Serve it.
Should it be bit?
Okay. All right, Ben.
Yeah, they spell phonically, not
Okay.
I
not.
mean, there's the other three. Roll
Ben,
a G.
get in here. I need your help.
You watch as this like six-legged metallic thing comes in. It's got this rounded body with like strange kind of like flat surfaces coming off of its back. The underside of the flat surface, there's like these luminary shards that have been imbued into the front to give it almost like a strange looking kind of face, but it's obviously not a face.
Right.
And it's harmonic voice. Yes, Maggot. What do you require?
And I know from experience that they're really hard to pry out with a dagger. So, yeah. I tried
Luminary
that.
shards.
Yeah, the shards.
Well, it can't give you facial expression, so I don't know what to tell you.
Sad automaton voice.
So here, take this hardtack out there. Let's see what else you got.
You start piling on trays on its back.
This wilted lettuce.
Yeah.
What else do we
That's something
have?
hard to make that is still in the icebox. Even those, a couple days old.
Like the old meat in the downstairs larder that's about to go down.
And after Bronco delivers the drink out to Torin, and you can hear their conversation in the other room, Bronco comes back and goes, sees you taking Ben and then, the barrel and everything. Oh, good. It's about time that food got thrown out. He just thinks you're taking it out for trash and kind of
I got it.
and then you head out the front, and 4 of them lined up perfectly, these steam wagons. There's a crew of 5 goblins per. So there's 20 of these little goblins just lounging around under some of the kind of like the pavilion shades that Takit had set up. And all of them in unison look at you as you and Ben are coming towards them.
Come on, boys. Time for a drink.
And like just inside the reception hall, you just hear a cacophony of childlike glee and the sound of goblin locusts just sending on free food and free drink. As
Best for them.
Maggot is like dealing with that out front.
Supposed to be
Torin
body
finishes
surgery.
the tankard. Oh, much better. Well, do you have a room for me? Now I think I will freshen up and prepare myself for, I'm assuming we will have dinner this evening.
Of course.
Ah,
Phil,
good.
would you be so good as to show him to his quarters? Will your men be sleeping with your contraptions, or
I certainly hope so.
okay?
If they don't want to be fed to the fire, they certainly will.
Very
Ah, good. Well, he gets up and he watches Bronco leads him over to a series of stairs leading upwards. And before long, two of them are gone. You can hear
Did you leave the paperwork here?
he did.
I'm a rabbit.
Okay. Pick up the satchel, throw it open. It's hereditary title documents, empty forms designed to be filled out, explaining the age of your family, how long they've been here, everything in the common histories of your family is expected to be filled out. And then you kind of get to the last line of the main document, you know, the name and blood print of your heir.
Do I feel comfortable answering most? Do I have knowledge for the rest of the questions?
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah,
So I,
For the most part.
I know-
The only thing lingering on your mind is how to solve this heir problem.
It's all me.
Is there anything written in there about the heir has to be blood relation?
No, just reference an heir apparent within your family who's designed to inherit the family title, is acknowledged as an heir.
Gotta give him the younger than.
And can it be changed on a whim?
Give me investigation as you start looking into more of the details of the documents. Are you having chest pains?
No. Yeah, you wish.
Natural 20.
Well, make an appointment and get them fixed.
Yeah.
You're only here twice a week.
Oh, damn shoulder just went. Boing.
Yeah, but you can't get a massage on game day.
You told
Oh,
me.
that's true. Yeah, that's right.
You're
'Cause
too mellow after you get a massage.
you're not too
on
mellow.
game
It's like
day.
you mainline heroin, you Mr. Brownstone.
I get the nods. I'm like,
Oh yeah, he's over there just.
I know exactly.
Yeah, we don't need the piss and vinegar milk.
It will be in the middle of the combat. He's even getting the nods.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Nice. With your modifier?
Investigation +6.
+6. There are lots of clauses, riders, and stipulations. Nothing that says you can change once the final signature is given. This feels like the absolute document that has to be done right. The other documents feel like discovery documents, details of organization and wealth and who's this, who's that, just family trees and family references. And there's even, you're even supposed to turn in a map of your estate. And you've got to turn in, you have to have some artwork done of, your heraldry and all this stuff that you have to turn in to kind of, and that's when it's like starting to settle in. Being on the council seat ain't no joke. It exposes you to a great deal of politic and the infighting of the kingdoms.
A lot of scrutiny.
And now with the rumor of Atmo's potential reveal this year, just more exposure to this nonsense that you've always tried to avoid. But now that the greater house has picked your estate and your family house, it's one of those things that you can only live in isolation for so long. One of the reasons why your mother gifted you with the veil.
There's nothing saying specifically I can't change it. There's no provisions to change it.
Correct.
Sounds like when I was getting the life insurance.
The truth to that.
I put everything back neatly.
So you guys all linger. Eventually, Maggot comes back covered in just remnants of eaten food, carrying in empty tankards.
Did they have a food fight?
Have you ever seen goblins eat?
I've seen you eat.
Yeah, times that by 20.
Is there the oracle is in
Big
the
teeth,
main
thin
Enos
lips.
area?
Do the
Before I say
math.
this out loud.
No. I mean, Torrin's gone upstairs,
Lauren's
and
going upstairs.
all the goblins are out in the main
I'm
courtyard.
gonna look at Megan and go, "It's okay. We'll put them on blocks tomorrow and sell the wheels in town. We replace them with egg."
I like your master in trouble.
May I use?
I like how you're talking about it in front of the geek.
May I use my ability, knowledge from past life,
Sure.
while I am looking, doing the looking through the papers? I'll roll a d6.
Go for it.
Oh, can I guidance him?
Why don't you get a shoe?
Does a bonus to your roll help at all, or is a d6 a fixed random result?
It's a d6. And I can use it twice.
Are you telling us about that you have to find an heir?
We already got a list of orphanages.
Do we know?
We're got a list of abandoned babies to go visit.
Who's gonna come work for them? The parents? No. It's a victimless crime. The kid will grow up crazy. It's the best thing that can
No, I
happen.
think we should do is get a shoe and then have a contest whose foot fits the shoe.
I noticed those goblins outside had that weed canvas and rubber footwear.
Yeah, I know. It's all the rage in the goblin community. If you were a goblin, you would know that.
I don't wear shoes.
Talia puts up her feet. There's these big orange, blackish, kind of like talon feet with these overly curved nails that haven't seen a sandstone in years.
That are pink. And she paints them.
They're not pink, they're blood red.
And they have like,
Little happy
they're
faces on
bedazzled.
them.
No, they're bedazzled.
There's Sanrio characters on them.
Yeah. What's a Hello Kitty?
No, I always like Pachaco because Pachaco is purple.
Oh,
It's the name of a bar in the nearby town. Pachaco Bar. Pachaco
Yeah,
Tavern.
Choco Tavern. It's next to the orphanage, so we're gonna steal a kid from it.
So what skill are you doing again?
It's a reborn special skill,
Okay.
knowledge from a past life.
Okay.
And I don't know how it works because I can't find it now.
So give me an
That
Can you
one,
make an
I
ability
think-
check that uses the
You roll a
skill?
d6 immediately after seeing the number on the d20 and add the number to the check.
so give me
So it's on
There you go.
history or like Arcana checks or stuff that
or
has to do with,
insight.
like,
So give me a history check for starters. So
Okay.
roll a d20 with the history
can I
modifier.
guidance him?
Now you can guide. So you get an extra
Hold
d4.
on, I got a guidance here. Hold
Yes.
Make an ability check that uses
D6,
the
and then you roll a
ability.
D6.
Roll a D6
8
and add the
plus
number to your check.
10. So 10,
There, your guidance.
15.
And did you get what's your guidance
Plus
roll?
4.
So you get a
Or well,
A
one
D4.
D4. Yeah.
so
one
roll a d4.
It says d6.
No,
No,
but he's
there we
giving
go.
you guidance.
He's
D4.
gonna
But I
give you
can
an
do
extra.
an extra D4.
Yeah.
He's going to give you
Says-
Because
inspiration.
our rolls have not really been.
Two.
You
Two.
can use this feature
17.
number of
17.
times equal to
17.
your proficiency bonus
So
per day.
thinking about all of this,
I know.
this must have been a problem for a previous family member, but in a different way. And there were always rumors that the lineage of your family is by no means, by the stretch of the imagination, one that you could call founded in truth.
Normal.
So while you leave the others in the receiving area, you head towards a different library. This library is the collective works of every single family member that's existed.
What's this one called?
This is the Blanche Library.
Blanche?
Blanche, your aunt Blanche is the one that established this library.
Blanche.
Devereaux.
Blanche Devereaux.
Is that from Golden Girls?
Yes.
My wedding.
Actually,
she-
that sounds like a cool D&D name. I'm sorry. Devereaux? Come on.
Well, so the original, I think it was, maybe it was Advanced D&D or like one of the editions of D&D. They used the Golden Girls as like the
Oh.
example of a perfect party.
Yeah, they did. I remember that.
And also at my wedding, the song that we had all of the like wedding parties enter into the reception to was the theme from Golden Girls.
That's hysterical. So
Right.
going in, there's some seating and then just rows and rows of the collective works of all the different family members that were recorded. And of course, this very kind of gaudy old oil painting of Aunt Blanche, great Aunt Blanche. She never physically looked okay. There was always something odd when you would stare at her. Oh, hi, Shadow. You showing everybody your lipstick?
Yes.
Yeah. Someone's excited to see us.
Something you can't unsee.
Sorry.
It always just reminds me of Brian from Family Guy.
I watched that episode, so.
Yeah.
Always reminds me of that. Absolutely hysterical.
That was a funny one.
All right. My
So-
dog sitter left.
Oh, that's right. Perceptions is gone. You spend some time coursing through the books. And you begin to do some math and you begin to kind of think about this. Sly Fox is all Shadow. You begin to realize as you stare at the books, there's some strange gaps in the timelines. There's a book that describes a certain 10-year period of the family. And it's all centered around a member of the family that went by the name of Rondo.
Rondo?
Yeah. And he was a bit of an explorer, traveler.
Or sure it's Rondo.
He was-
Rondo.
Born after one of the more recent Bloodborns that came into existence. And hey, I like to use popular culture names. Tough shit. As you kind of pull the book off the shelf, you open it up and you're like, you start reading through it. And soon enough, you get to a chapter where he describes that he had met up with an individual from a house of blacksmiths. And the Hammer Strikers is mentioned. They're kind of a famous engineering group. And the Hammer Strikers had solved this problem. Rondo didn't want to create an heir. So he made an agreement with the Hammer Strikers. They found him an heir that would fit the bill. He paid the stipend. And this bloodline came into the bloodline of your family. And it was because he was attempting to become a member of another house, and he had a proof that he had heritage. Once again, the challenge of the 8 kingdoms is it's all driven through the idea of 8 different families running these 8 kingdoms, and bloodlines and heritage. And
Rondo was trying to jump ship and join the Hammer Strikers?
No, he recruited the Hammer Strikers to solve his heritage problem.
Okay.
Because there was another house he was trying to join while still within the house of your family.
Okay.
So there's always the family house, and then there's,
He's trying to give himself more legitimacy.
yeah, he was trying to get into other houses of power.
So there may be a line of my family in the Dwarven.
In the Hammer
Hammer
Strikers.
Strikers.
They are a house of halflings.
Oh, halflings. Halfling blacksmiths.
So
I must
we
say,
gotta
your
go
young son
kidnap
has many hairy feet.
So now we have to kidnap a halfling
halfling.
and a
It's possible
We have to
if they
kidnap
keep a
halfling.
record,
A couple rabbit pelts.
you may find yourself a friendly contact over at the Hammer Strikers. They do still exist within the Crown Spire. They do resolve, or Crown Spire? Did I go with that name? I'm trying to remember. I did, didn't I?
you did. I remember that from session.
Own it.
Yeah, the Crown Spire. They still maintain their guild house there in the Crown Spire.
Okay.
So it is possible if they have, unfortunately, your region of the Mired Valley, they may or may not have a local guild hall here, but you're not entirely sure. If
How many days travel from here
to Crown Spire,
to?
Torrin's been on the road for 2 weeks.
And what's this area? We're mired.
You're in the Mired Valley.
And
Mired Valley.
where the
Like, you guys are like, minus the sea around Florida's Wang, the Wang of the United States. You guys are kind of like that far south, within the crooked finger. You're like way down there. In fact, you do have a coastal region. You do share a coastal region with the Dune Rock Bay.
We're fucking hicks.
Kind of.
Like we're northern Florida.
Like our yeah,
No,
like,
we're so far north.
it's like when
we're
rich people
Arkansas.
go out there and like they come to our trailer and we give them like 2 7-Eleven hot dogs and some water. It's like
We have
they're like,
They come knock on
they're
the
like
door.
I can't wait to get out of here.
People come knock on the door and they're like, hey, I need.
Well, we give them
Eventually, you
really
return from the library to hear them talking about 7-Elevens, hot
How
dogs.
bad,
Moonshine.
backwards we are.
Pointing guns at strangers, asking for directions. You don't go back the way they came.
Go to the
Get off
trailer.
my lawn!
Go out to the trailer, get the white flaky crystals.
Jeeves, load the elephant gun with rock salt. There's fuckery afoot.
So you guys are back together again in the reception area.
Is
What have I done?
Torin with us?
No, he's still up
Thank
up in the
God.
main chamber.
In his room.
Oh, yeah, or else he would have.
Yeah, we're huddled in the servants' quarters.
Well, you're in the reception area
Which is
at
really
this
just
point.
The sitting
parlor.
room, parlor.
Yeah,
Parlor.
one of the
Right,
parlors.
emotional support bar card.
That's fine, Tally's.
Eventually, you can hear the rolling cart come into the area with Bronco kind of pushing it. He still got his cane, and I know a lot of you think better when you drink. Kind of leaves the cart just filled with
Just
all the
thinking of
local liquors and ales and beers and all the thing that loosens tongues and breaks the ice of difficult conversation. Shall I light the fireplace? It'll be dark soon.
Bronco, you've done enough. I'm going to cast Unseen Serpent to go light the fire.
Oh. It always makes me feel not useful.
All he does is stand around half the time.
You look like you're in chain.
Ah!
Oh no, I'm just old.
We can.
I'm trying to
we
keep
can-
the
if
place
you wanna
running
light
there,
the fire,
boss.
you can
Don't
light the
hit me.
fire.
Thank you. He is cane.
I
He
know
starts-
all that.
Have him.
See you later. We'll keep an eye out for you.
Yeah.
Unseen Serpent's going to make the drinks while Bronco goes light
You heard the
fire.
joke, right?
Oh, this is going to be great.
All right. Well, I will share with the rest of you that I've been doing a little bit of research, and my problem may have already been solved by Wando. There may be a
Some rando's gonna solve your problems.
no,
fucking
Wando, one of
Kidnapping a baby.
my progenitors, who's
Your progenitors.
It's a progenitor.
he's left us
It's a
a
progenitor.
possibility that there may be an
Sex
heir,
It's a sex thing.
an adopted airline in the blacksmith halfling guild called Hammer Strikers. Their family.
We get to go kidnap halflings? Oh, this is going to be great.
Hammer strikers.
Hammer Strikers. I may have a legitimate heir on this.
Wait, does that mean that you went and had sex with hammer strikers?
No.
Wait,
A-
Wait.
I told you it was
you're
a
from
sex thing.
family of hobbit? I'm sorry, halflings?
And there goes the channel.
Copyright infringement number 1.
It's almost 100 years. That stuff's going to go.
We don't need a
Working
punch jar. We need
anytime.
an intellectual
One of my
property
distant
jar.
relatives may have declared an heir amongst the Hammer Strikers.
Oh,
So
Just
we
need to
can.
go search through records and speak with people and see if
Yeah,
person
which one he insists
does
all freaky
exist.
with half.
all right. What do you want us to do while you're gone?
No, we're going with it.
Are we going?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
That's such a maggot response. Like Talia's like,
I know what we're going to do. We're probably going to starve to death.
We just gave the rest of the food away to the dolphins.
Maybe.
I mean, I think the only challenge you have is limitation of time, and to find one of the Hammer
Tally.
Strikers' houses that would have the necessary information.
Johnny, can you tell me? You are a cleric, yes.
Last time I checked.
You do clerical.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Take
You
a
want
minute.
me to fill out the paperwork for you?
Would it be possible to take a look at these papers
Yeah.
to see how I must designate an heir.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to
M.
put in, rather than a name of a person, to put in something like, there we go, as provided for by law?
So you want the law to say who your heir is?
As provided for by law. That way I can go look for an actual relative.
We may have to ask Torian if that'll work.
Why don't you just pick one of us?
I should think that's obvious.
No, it's not to ask.
We could go, you
Thanks
know,
for the vote of
kidnap an
confidence,
orphan.
boss.
Yes.
I mean adopt an orphan.
Yes.
Wearing a 50-year-old robe.
I mean, that's the biggest possible thing.
Right, we could adopt an orphan.
This intrigues me, the fact that I may already have someone out there.
You can put whatever name you want on there. Why do we have to go find the actual person? I don't know. Just
Meanwhile, Maggot tried to write his own name in there, but he didn't know how to write, so it's just squiggly.
no, it's just like there's just like an X.
I'm erasing.
You know, that dude, that guy,
Mhm.
Um,
Well, how far away was the town?
I mean, the Crown Spire city itself is a good 2 weeks journey
2 weeks.
to get to it. But
Day and a half.
but good old, well, 2 days maybe.
I might be able to ask for an extension.
Well,
when it comes down.
there's also one other alternative.
Yes.
In the North Tower, you would probably have enough luminary shard for 2 teleportation circuits. One way there, one way back.
I have some luminary dust.
One person, one way there, one way
A
there.
group of 7, up to 7 people could be teleported
Okay.
to one of the teleportation stanchions that exist in the Crown Spire. So that's one possibility. The other possibility is that one of the local towns within the Mired Valley might have a Hammer Striker's house that you could maybe find some documentation with. But a lot of the hamlets and villages and towns within the Mired Valley are pretty small. But there is one.
I'm a bot. I perform. I might have seen if there's a hole down in one of the towns, right? It's a possibility.
Yeah, give me a history check as you think about some of your
Can I guidance myself?
travels.
I'm gonna guidance myself.
Okay.
I think I can guide him. Yeah, I can guide him.
2 guidances.
They don't stack.
They don't stick. I'm already guidancing myself. So history. Oh, no plus 2.
you'll go blind.
15.
15.
It's not that I've been in one, just that I've seen one.
Right. Recently, one of the once local kind of smallish villages has recently been a recent hub of activity due to the introduction of a couple newer houses. This town refers to itself as Mired Stone. It is kind of a larger town now. The regent there has invited some of these houses in to kind of take advantage of resources, and it's maybe about a half a day away from this area that this part of the Mired Valley that you're in. And you do remember seeing a guild house, and then kind of in your kind of drunken, like meandering way in between the different taverns, you remember looking up and reading something in common referring to Hammer Striker or
There's
something.
no common.
Well, from his language.
Yeah.
Orc is common in Orc and Goblin are considered common language. So
Are you an
So-
orc?
No. Takes what? My language
So-
is,
So in Calisha, common language is the aggregated languages of bugbears, goblins. Their aggregated language has become its own common language. And that's why you're able to speak coherently with the different lineages. fundamentally, the further you get away from society, the more they kind of fall back into their traditional dialects. So then that's when you need to know the language more specifically. So your common vernacular, it would have revealed
I'm gonna
itself to
speak
you.
up at this point. So I think I remember in Town of Whitestone, it's about a half day's travel away. I remember seeing a minister could give Paul out there. If you want to maybe venture that route. It's rather a larger city too. A couple houses are kind of shacked up in there.
Very good, I thank you.
They might also have an orphanage.
Definitely, it's larger.
Yeah.
Large cities have lots of kids.
How do they introduce
Steal a
kidnapping
baby.
into this game?
No, it's not kidnapping. It's
Societal adoption?
Yeah, you provide
Silent
Adoption.
Silent adoption where parents don't know that they just adopted
You
their
give
child.
us a problem. We
No,
provide
because it's
a
an
solution.
orphan.
That's
All on
fair.
our own.
Oh,
That's
orphan,
fair.
okay.
It's an orphan.
So we kill the nuns.
Have I ever been to Crown
Light the rest of the place on fire. Take one. So
You have on occasion gone there. It's incredibly large, congested, and a city that's mostly just embraced its natural environment through heavy resource industry, mining. It's designed to turn a profit. It's not designed to be comfortable in living. There are sections of the Crown Spire where those that can afford it, and you do keep a small estate there, but it's nothing particularly fancy. But whenever you do visit, you have a small place that you can call home whenever you're there.
I'm just thinking out loud that more records would be available around Spire than in some podunk town.
If the Hammer Strikers still do exist, and it sounds like they may, if they keep their main guild hall in the Crown Spires, since they may have more accurate records, more detailed records.
Teleport?
Yes, I'm sure that information would do that. I
Huh.
believe that smells.
Yes, he does.
That
How much of the
Astute
luminary
observation.
shards
it must be down
Dust
under,
was
underneath
in that little?
I mean, that's probably enough to like do a cantrip or small amounts of illusionary magic, maybe some small amounts of infusion of magic. The amount of luminary shard it takes to activate a teleportation is a
And it-
goodly
Does
amount.
it use it up and it uses it
It
up?
consumes it, yes.
Speaking of which, I'm assuming I have some type of a focus just for spellcasting.
I leave that up to you.
I have a focus.
It's whatever 7.
Oh, I know you have a
Spits out.
focus.
And after Bronco or after Torin comes back down, we will discuss this further. You may go to your various duties or.
Should we pack for a trip?
We got booze. We're doing it right here. We're good.
Bronco kind of starts pouring out different amber-colored whiskeys, slides them out.
Well, I should go check on our guest.
Here's Kane clucking as he's making his way.
Have a drink with us.
End it.
I don't drink.
Oh, okay. We'll have
Well,
one
that's
for
why
you.
you're always in pain.
Thank you for reminding me, Grimmeth. Yes. Yes, I'm always.
All right. Go do your thing. That guy.
How's Killington that one?
You watch as Maggot looks up at Belfry.
Some days I do think that.
Terrible.
Does he leave?
Yeah, he finally heads up the stairs to go fetch.
Don't invite him to our shit.
Look, he's ate a long day.
He said, "Oh,
He's been doing a
fuck
long
with him
day.
one eye." You know what he talks about? He talks about everything that's wrong with him.
Oh, no.
He's got gout.
That's
That's all he talks about.
Maybe, if he had a drink, he'd shut up about himself.
Alcohol makes gout
He can
worse.
go in his room alone.
Yeah.
He can go in his room alone
Shit,
and
that's
complain to
why
himself
geriatric
about
really
his
didn't like
problems.
me.
I gotta talk to Master. We gotta get him.
He's sitting right next to you.
I know, but we're not talking to him, so I don't get hit. See, like if I ask him, I might get hit. But if we talk amongst ourselves,
He can't hit all of us.
then-
I'm just not paying attention.
Right.
I'm just ignoring.
You just hear seals barking at that point.
You know, you realize what's going to happen. Eventually, we're going to have some runt ordering us around.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
and we'll get paid to do it. Would you rather try to survive out there?
I
in the
guarantee
towns?
you. Look what we're getting paid now. I mean, so much money, but not a lot to do out
We'll
here.
take a couple
so,
steps to the right to make room.
I mean, there's
So
not.
we
There,
take the
yeah.
shit out of it.
There's not a lot to do out here. Thank the gods, because if there was, we would know that we're not getting paid right now.
I mean, I make a good amount of money on my own, going out and performing in the different bars.
Well, I mean,
You gotta have a marketable skill.
I do. I don't count that into my income that I get from here.
I'm just imagining Mackett and Groove having this conversation.
All right. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I got under. I have revenue streams. Okay, but I don't count it what this guy pays.
Was it like that novel you were trying to sell?
I didn't even know they made copper pieces anymore.
They made copper, and you can get those little books that you were trying to sell me. What were they about? The rating of the shadows or whatever? Legends
I thought it
of
was
the
Tusk
Shadows?
Love.
Tusk Love? No, that was that one rag that he had, the Lusty Argonian Mage. That one was a little weird.
Look where we're at. We're out in the middle of a desert. You get what you can get.
Not sure what
You're
mean.
right, and if you do happen to wind up with a halfling in charge of you,
the
you'll
book's
get
name
what you
was.
get.
It was Freaks and Feathers.
So enough of this. We are
Freaks
going
and
to
Feathers.
Crownspire.
Yeah, that was the book.
Yay, Master! Thank you. Thank you for letting us attend you to Crownspire.
There's a brief moment where you
I'm
look
taking a couple more
past
steps
Tiki,
over so I don't get
and
hit.
Belfry's like staring at Tiki. See a little bit of drool starting to string down.
No, I make sure that he knows that we're our bread's partially buttered.
Eventually, you can hear the cane and the return of Bronco, followed by Torin behind him. And you see Torin. He's like all cleaned up. He's wearing. He's no longer wearing his travel gear. He's wearing like reception gear.
The leisure suit was travel gear.
Yeah, that was his traveling gear. Now he's wearing like these hot yellows, reds, and greens, like the house colors of the Triumvirate, but all like in leathers and like cured skins and other
Made of
things.
cobalt.
Orky stuff.
Yeah, to a certain degree.
That's where that.
Not as traditional in the sense of native, but and he's this time instead of the cigar, he's got a pipe. This ceramic kind of like pipe hanging out of his mouth. And oh, you don't mind, do you? Oh, good.
It'll cover up the smell of the bat shit.
That shit. I don't.
Oh,
What do you
my
mean?
apologies. We got
The goblin's
Oh.
batshit
yeah,
crazy.
the goblin's bad shit crazy. He smells so bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the Don Marshal. What the fuck is that?
Well, there's,
Are you aware you have a bat in your belfry?
Oh,
His name's Belfry.
His name's Belfry. He's the security.
you watch, so that gets excited because he hears his name from a stranger.
All right, no.
He's,
Oh wait, does that belong to you?
Yeah.
Do
he's
Yeah.
the security system we installed.
Yeah, he's I ride him. I saw you guys. I was out there.
Oh,
Saw you.
and what did
coming
you think
in.
of the steam wagons?
It's just cheaper to have horses. I mean,
They
they look
I've
like they
made-
would be.
Cheaper than the
I've made that argument
No,
time and
like,
time
no,
again, but
no offense whatsoever, my lord, but like it didn't seem like a smooth ride.
oh, and he got like shifts in the seat. It
Crack,
wasn't.
crack, crack, crack.
It wasn't at all. I am not a fan of these newfangled contraptions that continue to come out of Atmo. I prefer
They
that we
can't break
just.
their legs in the dark, so you can keep moving after dark.
Yes, I know. There's nothing more fun than working 24/7, isn't it?
Just say the traditional stopovers, the meals, the receptions at fine establishments to kind of.
It doesn't sound like it's very quiet.
No, it's not. It's quite loud. It's a little bit quieter on the inside of the contraption itself, designed to keep the noise out. But
I can do a deal with you guys. I can.
An engine run thing.
don't
So
know what
the
that is.
code has to be really.
I can sell those things real easy for you and get your regular carriages.
no, they don't belong to me, so I can't.
Oh,
Unfortunately, yeah, they don't.
oh, they were forced upon you by someone else.
They are
Oh,
owned by the house,
oh, sorry.
not by me. Sorry,
Yeah.
my missus. So, have you had a chance to look over the documentation that I left for you?
Yes, thank you.
Does everything appear to be in order?
Somewhat. I did have a few questions.
Please fire away.
It seems like I am bound to or expected to name an actual heir within your visit.
Yes, because I must return with the signed contracts. The other 7 houses are submitting theirs as well. All of them must be presented to the current high chair for review. They are then consecrated and then put to the record. That's when we start the official process of the election process, where you're free to garner any support that you wish to have, as well as the cost of garnering that support. And my job is to bring the information back and get the final hereditary titles resolved. However you choose to do that, I leave up to you. Not to be disrespectful in any way. It's been known by the others for some time that this house does not technically have an heir. But if you behave in the same way that most houses do, not you specifically, but families as they are, chances are there's a lineage out there somewhere for you. Perhaps, maybe even something I can help with. Won't be cheap, but just wondering.
It's over all people who pays for that.
Is there I do have a lead to follow up on, actually.
Oh, good.
I was wondering if there would be any possibility of negotiating for an extension on your return.
Give me a persuasion check.
Can I guidance him?
Mhm.
You get an extra 1d4.
Guidance doesn't stack, right?
Does not. Can I guide the guidance of the guidancer that gave you guidance within the guidance of the realm of guidance?
I guidance all
Yeah.
the guidance.
You're like, yeah, that's what I meant.
So I want to give him advantage.
21.
Awesome.
Well, you know, these contraptions break down quite often. They're notoriously sort of reliable.
I
The weather.
understand.
The weather.
Feel free to use my house as yours while you have them repaired.
Say,
I have quite an excellent library.
I think I can have them repaired in 5 days.
Won't make it to go out there with the hammer. Make it
I
safe.
believe that should be sufficient.
Ah, good. Now, where is that cart? Bronco, let us drink. And Bronco comes bringing over a fresh cart of booze. And, eventually, over the next hour, the dinner meal is consumed. Kind of banter, discussion. Every now and then, Grimmeth kind of plays a tune to kind of just
Putting it
and in different positions within the hall, caretakers designed to make sure that trays are taken away, drinks are refilled, and the hour turns into 2 hours. And before long, it's now mid-evening. Torin kind of, well, must say, well received. Excellent meal, my friend. Keep a very nice house. Very nice. I'm going to begin my documentation work this evening. I will have a message sent by the Ravens to let those waiting to hear back from me know that my wagons have suffered a breakdown. I'll be here for some time. Until they force me back, I will give you that time that you need. I've been in need of a vacation. There are some places down in the local villages that I'd like to visit. So, thank you all for a wonderful evening, and I forward to seeing you in the morning.
Torm gets up and kind of goes up the stairs, and Bronco follows him. Eventually, you hear the of the door closing. Eventually, the staff clear the table. You guys have the rest of the evening. What would you like to do?
Do we want to leave now or do we want to leave later? Tomorrow?
We leave in the morning.
In the morning?
Right. So we're switching to beer rather than liquor.
Probably a good idea. And don't forget to drink plenty of water.
Oh, water. Yeah, that's entirely what I intended.
Don't forget to drink water as well.
Well, water?
Ice cubes in it.
You can touch him down there.
Ice cubes is perfect. Yeah. I want to go. I want to go play with the raptor again, but it's dark, so the raptor's probably sleeping.
Just have the rest of the evening. Do whatever you want.
I'm gonna pack for the trip.
Okay. What do you want to do, Maggot, with your evening?
I'm doing it. Drinking.
Brought some egg in.
I'm not going to drink. I'm
Okay.
going to drink a little bit, and then eat some food, and then probably, let Belfry know we're going on a trip.
Okay. Taki, anything you want to do with your evening?
I will instruct Bronco to ready my travel packs,
Okay.
and then I will go on the roof and watch the stars.
Okay. Richter, anything you want to do for the rest of your evening?
Pack my bags and little R&R.
Okay.
Get ready.
Drinking egg.
Drinking what?
Egg.
Drinking. I thought you said drinking peg.
I
I'm
thought
like, who are you
said that
pegging?
too.
Bronco.
Drinking pig,
Bronco.
eye socket.
So bad.
Remember, it's adult content.
This is the after hours.
We were rated M for sure.
Yeah.
We are rated
D&D
M.
after
For,
hours.
we are rated M for deviant. So the evening is a mix of quiet readiness and either visiting Belfry to try to explain to him, which at some point gives you a kind of a nibble on your arm, which he means to just be playful, but as he pulls back with a little bit of skin, you're like, you get out a little of the healing ointment and rub it on there. Once again, more scars to add to your arm. You hope he gets the gist of it. You visit the pens and instruct some of the stable folk that you'll be gone for a bit. And to keep the animals well fed, continue the training of the sand raptor, known as Ford. The next one's going to be named Tundra.
There you go.
And then
Nice.
Pinto.
Yeah.
Why is this ranked
If you hit it real hard in the back, it explodes.
You kind of retire to your chamber to do some packing and kind of like you decide to leave the one loot home and maybe take a different one with you. You're traveling loot instead. Same with, you start packing your kit and your gear. You're up eventually on the roof. Just kind of, it's one of the nice things about the Myriad Valley. Not a heavy population, like from a society perspective. But the people that live out here are rough and they're adaptable and they know how to live in this kind of environment. And they do well. Families of orcs and goblins and bugbears kind of, you can even hear from the small Greystone village below that sits at the beginning point that allows you to get egress up to the estate. You can hear the music. As you know, they're probably always culturally celebrating a fair or they have something going on.
Is it an orphan celebration?
Adopt-a-thon.
Maybe the influence of the steam wagons coming through at some point and kind of spurred a sudden celebrational evening.
You gotta get the wheels off and put them on board.
They'll just let everybody know what kind of place this is.
They're not leaving before we do.
Should just be able to like kind of find out on their own.
We're not taking because they're leaving. We're taking because we need money.
You can actually hear them in the hall. Like there's a window that's open, and you're up on the peak of the roof. You can hear them talking about taking the wheels off. You can hear Talia explaining to Grimmett, no, we're leaving first. They're not leaving yet.
You seen how old Bronco is, right? Okay. He ain't retiring. We're not going to be able to retire on this shit we get paid.
You can hear all of it.
No
Because you're like up on the roof, the window's open, their conversation's drifting out and up towards you.
He ain't got no money.
Can
He
I
barely
see
keep this place
like,
running.
can I see near them somewhere?
Not really. You can hear them, not really see them.
Because you're on the roof.
Because you're up on the roof. And probably one of the little sitting windows is just leaning open. They just didn't notice. So you can hear their conversation. You just can't really see them.
Look, you want new shoes on.
Could I hit the outside of the window and not destroy
He
it
likes
with
his
magic
shoes.
missiles?
I mean,
Just kind of.
you'll probably damage it.
You
You have
got money
commentary?
for-
I don't got money for that.
We can't afford a
We
window.
can't afford the new window.
Replace the window.
Yeah, glass is expensive.
much
Like
like the menu
Dark
can't
Tower for
trade
Little
it.
House on the Prairie.
Someone's took the menu can't trade. They ain't nothing
I
getting fixed
will
around here.
attempt to ignore the shit going on and just introspectively look at the stars.
Okay.
He's always up there looking at the stars. I mean,
What if we take one of the goblins and dress it up like a halfling and
What?
say that's his ear?
look, I can get 2 rabbit pelts, put them on my feet. Done. You don't have to call me maggot. I'll make up a stupid halfling name.
Swanenson Swaggins.
Yeah.
Flippy Go?
Yeah, some little stupid names they pick.
Can you imagine him dressed up to look like a halfling, presented to Doran? Oh, we found this ad.
That's right. Why are we having to push the hard button? We should be pushing the easy button. We have to teleport. You ever teleport?
Oh no, it feels weird. You feel
I mean, if we
fuzzy
dressed
the rest
him
of
up
the
like a halfling, it'd be cheaper because we won't have to spend the luminary shards.
day. But the thing is that halflings don't sway a lot.
How do you know?
A lot of.
You haven't met them all.
I met them all.
They're a bit more of a fond folk than the race of
I won't curse. Come on. I'm not that dumb.
I'll be fucking polite.
For fuck's sake, don't you think I know my own plan for fucking crying out loud?
Just take some of the
Teleport
fur from like
rearranges all your guts. Can't,
I'm sorry.
can't shit right for a week. All right. And we got to do it twice. You know what's going to do to us? Why don't we just pick one? He's just got to push the easy button.
I cannot wait till you and Nick start role playing. Or Zach.
It
should be great.
You know, the only up, you know, the
Wait,
only
but-
positive thing that's, you know, that I see is we might be able to get higher paying jobs in that crown.
I
Spire.
can hear it.
You guys notice the windows open?
Side
I
job.
can hear Takeet. He must be up on the roof again.
Shit, he's on the roof.
The last time we talked about
You guys-
noise in this place.
You guys stop talking bad about the master. He's a good guy. He's doing his best. I'm gonna go to bed.
We scattered.
I'm gonna have to sneak out. I have no ride tonight, so my ride's here right now.
I'll give you a ride home.
Oh, he's already here. He just texted me.
No worries.
Okay,
If you have to bail a little early, it's fine.
My car is on the fritz today.
So that's like butterscotch.
Where did the llama dice bag come from? Is that one of yours?
Yeah.
I was like, that'd be
Yeah.
really cool if that was yours that you rolled in with.
Yeah, she hooked me up with the llama. I liked
It's a
it.
whole lot better than, you know.
Crown
Royal.
Royal. That's the more common dice
That's,
bag.
that's the
that I've
SCA
seen.
coin pouch.
Do you
I know.
remember when we were on, or when we were doing the dice, rolling for the dice on Discord.
Oh
That
yeah.
was one of the.
Oh, that was
dice
one
I
of the llama dice sets. That's funny.
I didn't give him the llama dice, but I gave him the llama dice bag.
Gotcha.
I-
Now, normally when we start around 6:30, we'd actually be wrapping up right about now because 6:30 to 9:30 is what we're shooting for. But you
I
know,
feel bad.
no, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, you were.
I will
I'm
be
sure
here
you
at
were at work and you had to work. You had lots of work you had to get done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, stand by.
I'm taking
Stand by.
my 11sies nap.
Yeah, he was working so hard, he had to skip the home lunch and got Carl's Jr. today.
We gonna let him out, babe?
Yeah, I'll go let him out.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're only gonna run probably another 20 minutes, so that's fine. Just long enough for everyone to have
I'll
to
be
roll
here
death
more
saves.
next week.
I'll be here on time next week.
Oh, you don't want to know what my backup characters are. Those ones are designed to mess with you. This one is just for consoles.
Mess with me? Is that even possible?
They're all Kenkus.
I mess with you all the time.
Well, yeah, that's different. We're talking about game mechanics.
Thank
No,
you,
we already
Chief.
have a.
I'll see you next Tuesday.
All right.
See you, Matt. We'll
See
see
you
you
guys.
next week.
Yeah.
Thank
Stay out of trouble.
I'll try.
No, there's a house rule, no Kenkus.
Yeah, that's the only house rule that I have is no Kenkus.
Because I tried to play one, and he's like, no,
It's
not going to hear a squawking voice.
so a Kenku is a mimic, and it's a bird that mimics other people's voices. Now, supposedly in D&D 1, they've changed it to where
Not even D&D 1. Monsters of the Multiverse.
Multiverse changed it so that they can have normal conversations.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like the Kenku is redundant because you could have just as clever as a creation in an Aarakocra. You know, you could
Well, I
be
mean, you
clever
could-
with an Aarakocra
Well,
in
yeah,
a
I know.
similar
I mean,
manner.
it doesn't
So,
matter. You can make a Raven Aarakocra, like it'd be the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's really I think they pulled it out of the monster manual, right? They pulled it from the monsters to make it a player. character.
Originally, I think they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do all that, but
I think the
never saw they
only
can't make
person
dolls.
that's really ever successfully pulled off a Kenku and it was used in an appropriate manner was when Matt used it as an NPC. I thought
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
it's gotta
fun.
be
That
a
made
ma-
sense.
NPC's fine
Yeah.
because NPCs die, and then NPCs go away.
But
So
if you have
they're not in
if you have a
face,
knack
like,
for like voice acting and voice mimicry, you can have some fun with it.
yeah.
But if you're a brand new player and you know, it could be a little
I
overwhelming.
mean, it's intimidating when I read it. I'm like, I wouldn't even try to attempt that.
It's a tough race.
Kenku?
Yeah. They made it easier with the multiverse. So you guys all
Okay.
slip off into your different bed chambers, saying goodnight to one another, and do the last of your bit of packing and getting ready for the evening. Everybody gets their long rest.
I
So
meditate with my carved owl.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I actually don't know how spells work.
I
I mean, I have 7. I know 14, but I can have 7 ready to go.
Yeah, 7
Okay, do I have to
prepared.
pick ahead?
Yes.
yes.
Red bag is-
So the night before I have to pick what the next day is.
Well,
No,
no,
pick it
for
the morning
wizard,
Oh wait, wizards are different.
yeah, wizards you
wizards
pick
have-
and that's what you get. And then with each level, you learn new spells. And when you go to learn a new spell, then you make the choice, and then that's it. So
I think it says in there like they can take an hour to choose the prepared spells for the day.
yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Well,
But
but wizards have a set.
Well, yeah, they have their
List.
spell book, but then they have ones they can prepare from there.
Right, but they're limited. They
Yeah.
can't know everything, and they can't prepare everything.
Well, yeah, because gold exists.
And yeah, and it's not like they can.
No,
Yeah.
because I know a cleric you can have the spell list and you get a certain number of spells. I think mine is like 14. Or no, 7. I think it's 7. And then but with wizards you have the spell
Children,
list,
children.
but you pick the ones and those don't change.
Yeah.
So it's not a prepare it every morning. I
Well, it's
don't
not
think
prepared-
they change.
Well, it's the difference between the spell book and the prepared spells. The spell book, you can have anything.
You can have
as long as
100
you have the
spells,
gold.
but then you only have,
But you can
you
only
have to
prepare
memorize.
so many each day.
So
That's what
raw
I'm
rules as written. Once a wizard of a certain level picks their spells, that's it. With each attainment of level, they can then add more spells to their spell book. But once they add that spell, that's the spell you know. So every day when you wake up in the morning, your spells are available to you that are in your spell book, and they're prepared and ready to go. Your long rest recovers your arcane ability to use them. Right.
Man.
You can't know 48 spells and then randomly or selectively pick daily a different grouping of spells. Only divinity allows you to do that, and only nature
Wizards
allows you to do that. Clerics, paladins, druids, they're able to switch up their spell lists on a daily basis. So wizard, the reason why wizard spells are so powerful is because what's known is known, and that's it.
Okay.
When
so
you take off your butt seat.
Oh man, that thing was killing me.
Oh, I wonder
three
if mine's on
cantrips.
the wrong side. Is it bumpy side up or bumpy side down?
Bumpy side down.
Is it? Okay, then I've been doing it right. I like them. I think they're great. Like sitting on a big squishy jello pad.
So yeah, you gotta pick
I
which
have
spells.
3 cantrips.
Okay.
I have 7 spell slots and a total of 14 spells in my spell book.
Correct. So those are the 14 spells that you know. That's all you know.
Okay.
And of those 14,
You can pick
you
seven.
can
Pick
you
seven.
can pick 7 spells per day out of those 14.
Okay.
So it's not like you know all 112 that would be available to know. Once you pick the ones you know, that's
Set
what
the
you
ones
know.
for today
Correct.
until I sleep again and then reset.
Correct.
Morning.
Okay.
Out of that small pool of spells that you know.
What about cantrips?
Cantrips, I let players do whatever the fuck they want with cantrips. They're not ultimately powerful. You can switch those up and change them. To me, cantrips are what you use to practice to be a beginning wizard. Therefore, you could treat those like everybody else treats magic. Just pick the ones you want, and every day cycle them however you want to
And
cycle them.
cantrips don't cost a spell slot.
They're at will.
They're not
Okay,
low.
so
Yeah, you can
when I was
cast them,
loading
cast them,
it,
cast them, cast them, cast
or
them, cast them.
That's
using
why I
the
was like
D&D
destroying
Beyond,
titans
let me pick
everywhere.
3 cantrips.
Mhm.
But
And they don't eat spell slots. They just at will all day long.
can I do more cantrips?
As you attain levels, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Okay.
And the open world environment that we play in can offer you an opportunity to learn spells
On the
as
fly.
well.
So say, one of your trusted minions, you send him out to kill a magic user and take a spell. Bring it back to you. Now you know more
And
spells.
then we add more spells.
Or
to
you
the
can-
spell.
And I am heartily
Attempt to
rewarded.
learn more spells. Yeah.
And I'm heartily rewarded for my efforts.
Is that how that works?
Dang it, I almost lost you when the last person tried to unionize this place.
I know.
Well,
Well,
they directed.
So that's where we're going to wrap up tonight. You guys just took your long rest with the intention of traveling to Crownspire in the morning. And then that'll be a great opportunity to introduce Zach next
Are we
Tuesday
meeting
to the
at
mix.
Are we meeting with
did
crowds?
I ever, did,
I don't know,
do I
we'll
know
see.
Zach?
No, he plays in one of my pay-to-play games.
Oh, pay to play.
But he's also local
He's
enough
local.
that
Oh,
when I offered him a seat at the table, it's like, oh, yeah, I'll play.
oh, that's awesome.
So, all right. Well, thanks everyone. Our very first session for this group in the new room. We had a little bit of a trick getting our starting time, but in the future, 6:30 to 9:30 as of next week ish. Sometimes we get started right away. Sometimes we like to talk shit and have fun. It is what it is.
Mostly.
But thanks everyone for coming out. Don't forget, be kind, be safe, and play a game. It's good for you. Good night, everybody.
All right, bye.